Hello and welcome to Fireline. I'm Bill Wade, a captain with the Tampa Fire Department. This time of year, the number of alarms that the Tampa Fire Department responds to goes up significantly. We're in the studio today with Inspector Jamie Urso, and Inspector Urso is going to be with us to talk to us about some of the things that you can do around your house to make your house more fire safe during the holiday season. Inspector Urso,
Hi, Bill.
thanks for joining us today.
You bet.
Well, the first thing is, obviously, a lot of people put up these holiday trees, and you and I know that, the holiday trees are nice. Now, this is an artificial one.
Right.
But we know there's some problems with the real ones that people might buy this time of year. Give us an idea of some of the things they can look for or do with a holiday tree.
Right. The most important thing with a holiday tree is to keep it moist and wet. These trees dry out rather rapidly, and when they do, they can go up in a matter of seconds. I've had occasion to go to some house fires that the tree did burn the house down at Christmas time.
Now, how would I know if the tree is drying out?
Check the branches, check the needles. If you can run your hands across the branches and you get a handful of needles, then it's too dry. Check your water container and add some water.
So what you're saying, just the water in that little basin thing that
Right.
it balances
Absolutely.
and is enough?
Right, right.
Now, I understand there's commercially available some type of flame retardant I can spray on. You familiar with that?
Yes, there are some flame retardants that you can buy commercially to apply to the tree to make them more fire safe and more flame retardant.
Very good. Now let's move over here. Now, obviously, holiday tree, holiday lights. We've got to plug it in. We have to get the extension cords. And I see you've brought along here to show us today some of the different types of extension cords people will use. Tell us about the difference in these.
These are a couple of the more popular cords that you see in the home. This one is I'd say is a no-no. It's the wire's too fine a gauge, and it won't handle the amount of current being put through it when you plug in 8 or 9 strands of Christmas lights. Okay. What we prefer you to use is a power outlet like this. Plug in the multiple lights here, and if you do have an overload, it'll throw the breaker, and you can reset it, maybe take some power out. But it's a lot safer because you do trip the breaker here before you overload it.
Yeah, show them the difference in that cord between the two of them.
Right, look at this heavier, much heavier gauge wire, handle a lot more current. Okay, a lot safer.
I also noticed this has got the 3-hole, where this is just one of the...
Right, this one does not have the ground, whereas this one does have the ground pin.
Very good. Now, also, I see you brought in one of these little gang outlets or something. I'm not really sure.
Right, little gang outlet. These are a no-no also. What these do, people, how would you say it, they would overload them with power. They'll plug in 2 here, and then they'll run it to an extension cord like this, which will give it another multiple of 3. So they actually have maybe 9 things running off of one outlet, which totally overloads the system. And these have been known to just burst into flames.
So they just kind of melt down.
And burst into flames.
Lose the house, and if it's near a dry tree.
Right, near a dry tree, plugged against the wall near a dry tree, and the whole house goes up. Yes.
Jeez, that would be a loss. Now, also I noticed on the back of this box it gave some recommendations. This is the box that this power outlet came out, and it especially suggested not to coil the wire or something like that. Tell us about that.
Right. When you coil the wire and any extension cord, what it does is act like the wire in a toaster. So you notice a wire in a toaster runs back and forth, back with sharp bends. You see how hot and red it gets? Same thing in this application. Same thing, same principle.
And I believe the other suggestion that we were talking about before the show was something about keeping these out from underneath the carpets or something. There was some danger there?
Right, same principle. Under the carpet, they overheat. The wire's too small to handle the electricity. They'll melt down, catch the carpet on fire, which in turn catch the house on fire.
Yeah, I think we were also talking about stepping on it too at that point and saying, well,
right,
how badly you'd bust the cord up constantly stepping. It's not meant to be stepped on.
Absolutely.
Okay, let's move down here now. Look at these. Now, I haven't seen this type of lights in a while, but I understand these are still around. I think most people are familiar with those little twinkle lights, but I know we picked these up at like the local Walmart.
Right.
And could you tell the people a little bit about these type of lights?
These are some of the older style bulbs. They're just continually still manufactured for people who do have older strands of lights. Most people now use a smaller twinkling style light, which uses a lot less amperage than these larger ones do. And for safety reasons, if these do become dislodged, it's easy for a little one to stick their finger in a large hole versus the very minute hole of
those little pull-out
snap in place. These are large, and these are basically a smaller version of what you have in your ceiling for a light fixture. Get very hot.
That's the other thing we think we want to
Right.
mention. The heat coming off. That's well, they call the little ones cool lights. Correct?
Right, cool lights, where these still get rather hot and could cause a dry brittle tree to go up.
So that we keep going back to the dry tree, we keep going back to the
Right.
electricity and that
Absolutely.
type of combinations. Also, I understand, like people put these around inside their windows, the curtains and stuff nearby.
Right.
These could also be a problem.
Absolutely. Should not be used. If you use any type of lights in your home, use a small twinkling style light.
Well, very good. Okay, that's a good suggestion. Now, also, now we didn't bring one in here today. We had a little problem getting in the door, but we wanted to talk about chimney and chimney safety because this is the time of the year people are starting to get the chimneys. I mean, here's the holiday tree, here's the fireplace and stuff.
Right.
What suggestions? What should people look for in their chimney before they fire it up for the first time?
Well, the main thing they need to do is make sure that it is clean. A lot of times people neglect cleaning their chimney, and there's a big buildup of creosote and other byproducts of the combustion lodged inside the chimney itself, which can cause a fire. Another thing they do at this time of year is a lot of decorations around the fireplace, which can easily catch on fire from your regular fire. So keep your screen in place.
Okay.
If you have glass doors, keep them closed while you're burning your fire.
Now, also, you mentioned getting all the debris out of the chimney, the duct itself. Is there
Right.
still actually chimney sweeps out there?
Yes,
Like we
there
see in
are.
the old Mary
You
Poppins
still
type
see them on the
movies
street.
over
There are
there?
chimney sweeps who can clean your chimney for you.
Oh, very good. Now, probably one of the big things the fire department has a problem with, or one of the problems that we have are these two items sitting right here, these candles. And actually, I mean, they're nice to look at when we light them up.
Right, they're beautiful at the holiday time. Light a candle
They
and
have an aroma coming off of them.
right.
So, what's the problem here? with
Problem
these
is
things?
the main problem with a candle is that they're usually lit and left unattended. Christmas time or holiday time, kids run around playing, easily knock one over. If there happens to be a something that can catch fire there, whole house can go up.
We've got a problem.
Got a big problem. So the main thing, if you're going to light any candles, make sure they're in a base.
Like what we have
like
here.
what we have here, a base that'll catch some of the hot wax, and if they do fall over, I recommend a base that is the same size as the candle. If the candle does fall over, it lands in the base.
Good suggestion.
Okay?
Good suggestion. Now, also, of course, it sounds to me also if the people, before they go to sleep at night,
Absolutely. Fireplace is out, candles out.
candles are out. Holiday lights are off.
Turn your
trees
tree off.
been watered.
Right. Trees watered. Turn your tree off.
We got quite a combination going here. Now we've worked our way down to one of our other big problems. This little space heater. Now this is a small electric space heater. I know we see these sometimes in offices,
Right.
people who get cold feet and what during the winter.
Right.
But also people use these around their houses. Give us an idea first off of the problems here with this electric type space heater.
Well, looking at this one right here, you can tell there's a major problem with this one because we have a break in the cord right here.
Oh, look at that. You might not even notice that.
Right.
And
You got a break in the
wire's showing
cord,
right
wire's short, fire hazard. The main problem with these, you see these a lot in office spaces. People keep them by their desk and a little sweater hanging off their chair, clothes, even their pant leg too close to this forced air heater can start a fire.
Yeah, and then even if they go on a break,
Right.
go to lunch, they come back.
Or they leave that night and leave it running.
Forget
And
to turn
it
it off.
has been known to cause some burns being too close. Forced air heater.
Jeez. Oh, actual burns. on the
Actual
lunch.
physical burns, yes.
Now we're going to come around the front of the table here because we've got a bigger space heater sitting up here. And these are, I believe, you referred to the non-vented kerosene type heaters.
Right. These are no-no in the city of Tampa. In fact, this is one that we confiscated from a home. Problems being that they're not vented,
Okay.
can be tipped over with an open flame, spill fuel. They're just not a safe heater. Not a safe heater at all.
Well, but like you said, we see them used a lot. What are besides the heat and the possibility of fire, is there any other dangers with this?
Well, main danger is the fuel and the flame.
The kerosene that's in the bottom.
The kerosene that's in the bottom, and filling them properly.
What do you mean by filling it in
Well,
properly?
if they'll fill them right at the spot where they sit in their living room, splash kerosene on the carpet.
And it could flash.
Right, sure, it could flash. Now, we realize the ignition temperature of this is much lower than what would be for gasoline or higher, and the gasoline would flash much more readily, but this is still a danger to have in the home.
So, okay, let's say somebody's got one of these that's watching the show and they're still going to use it, maybe that's their only source of heat.
Right.
What would be the proper safety tips that they should, if they're going to use this? Now, we're not recommending that anybody use these, but if they are going to use it, what would be the proper filling, since you said that filling is a problem with it?
This should be filled outside
Okay,
and brought
outside.
back into the house if they're going to use them. Kept in a spot, well ventilated, and free from any type of obstruction.
So like this would be too close.
That's too close.
As close as we are.
Right.
We'd want to move this away because...
Absolutely, because it could radiate some heat, and it could do some damage here.
How about the fumes coming off of this? Any
Fumes, you can smell them. I can smell them right
Yeah.
now. Okay.
I can smell the
Not
kerosene.
very good for you.
Okay.
Smelling these fumes, and if it does go out, you still have the kerosene vapors coming off.
Okay.
That could.
So once again, we remind people, we're talking about here strictly these non-vented space heaters, the kerosene space heaters, because the ones that are properly installed, properly vented, have the fuel source kept on the outside of the house. That's a
absolutely.
standard in this area.
Absolutely.
Especially as houses, what, built in the 40s and 50s and such.
Or before then, a lot of kerosene type heat in some of the homes, but they are well ventilated and installed properly.
Okay, so we're going to caution people not to use these particular models, especially here in the city of Tampa. We've had many, many fires caused by these, either because they've radiated heat to another object, improper filling, and also we've had problems with people suffocating because these things do eat some of the oxygen in the home as well.
Just basic carelessness.
Yeah. So if you are going to buy one of these and use it, read the manufacturer's suggestions and please be very careful with it. But we'd recommend that you find a better source for heat.
Absolutely.
Very good. Okay, let's wander right back around here and see what else we got back here on our table. Our candles are going along nicely. We haven't left them unattended just yet. Time to talk about cooking. Now, Jamie, you're quite a well-known cook around the fire department.
That's what they say.
And I understand that you have heard of a technique that some people use, putting food products right inside of paper bags to savor the moisture, something actually,
Right.
and then actually putting the
There's
paper bag into an oven?
There's some recipes that call for cooking in a paper bag. We don't recommend it unless it is monitored. Of course, it's much more safer in an electric oven than in a gas oven with flame. So please be careful if you're cooking in a bag.
Okay, so we're just going to warn people about that. And it seems to me like we get a lot of kitchen fires. Matter of fact, it seems to be one of our biggest cause of fires here in the city of Tampa. It seems to me like a lot of people do the unattended thing. They put things on the...
Right, a lot of pots on the stove, as we call them. You can smell them from blocks away. You know exactly what you're going to. But one of the big fires, problems we have, are the grease fires in ovens that are self-cleaning. People misconstrue the concept of self-cleaning. They'll just close it, lock it down, and fire it off, where they need to clean some of that grease out beforehand.
So if it's on there thick, they're getting ready to clean
It's on
up for
there
the
thick.
holiday
Clean it-
season.
Right, clean it up as well as you can, then use a self-cleaning feature. Don't use a self-cleaning feature if you have an inch of grease all over the walls of your oven.
A good point, a good point. And speaking of the kitchen and kitchen fires, we're going to go ahead and bring up one of
Fire
these now.
extinguishers.
Why don't you go ahead and tell the people a little bit about fire extinguisher, and if you want to blow the candle out so you don't get burnt,
Yes,
that
sir.
would be good.
Drink the candle.
There we go.
Fire extinguishers. There's three main types you'll see. A pressurized water, a ABC type extinguisher, which is a dry chemical, and a CO2 extinguisher, and halon. The most readily available, the ones you'll see probably in your home or you can buy, are your ABC dry chemical extinguishers.
This model here.
Just like this one right here. One of the most important things we do tell people when they're going to use one of these extinguishers is to pull the pin. This is no pin. Okay, you don't pull the pin, you're not going to have a fire extinguisher.
Okay.
Pull the pin, get rid of it, aim at the base of the fire, and make sure you sweep back and forth to blanket the fuel.
Okay.
Okay? Remember, don't use water on a grease type fire
Because?
because it just pushes the fuel away. We need to have these type in the kitchen, okay, to blanket the fuel. And if you do have a pot of grease that's burning, just put the lid on it. That's the safest way to put it out.
Safest way to put out a fire, a pot.
A grease fire in the kitchen, just put the lid back on the pot and it'll put it out by smothering.
If not, then have one of these. Now, what would be a good place in the kitchen area maybe to hang this?
Accessible to everyone on a wall, mounted on a wall, not too high, but high enough where if you have small ones, they won't be able to bother it. But so it can be seen throughout the kitchen area.
Oh, very good. Thank you for telling us about these extinguishers and everything else that you brought in here today. Now, I'll tell you what we're going to do, people. We're going to go ahead and take a break. And when we come back, we're going to visit Fire Station number 4 and talk with Tampa's Firefighter of the Year for 1995. We'll be right back.
Hello, my name is Smokey Bear, and this is my home. A place for you to climb, sleep, watch, and play. As long as it's not with matches. Only you can prevent forest fires.
Welcome back to Fireline. We're here in Ybor City visiting with the crew of Engine 4C at Firehouse number 4 in Ybor City. Standing here with me is Tampa's 1995 Firefighter of the Year, Ronnie Tillman, and his Captain Randall Jordan. Gentlemen, thank you for inviting us here today. Ronnie, you were Tampa's 1995 Firefighter of the Year. How many years have you been a member of the Tampa Fire Department?
I've been with Tampa Fire Department for 15 years now.
Now, through those 15 years, I would imagine you've been at quite a few different fire stations throughout the city. What do you like about being here in Ybor City?
I like Station 4 because it's in the center of everything. We have the potential to have just about any type of run or situation in this area. So I like it.
On a typical day, what type of runs would you go on here in Ybor City?
We'll probably have a couple auto accidents, maybe a building fire, a few code 11s, and it's just hard to say we could have anything.
What's a code 11 for the people who are watching?
Illness or injury.
Okay. You guys also go down to the port quite often, don't you?
Mm-hmm. We get down to the port, have the potential for ship fires, tanker fires, a lot of hazardous type materials in the port.
Very good. Now, you've been a member of the Tampa Fire Department for 15 years. What made you interested in becoming a firefighter?
Well, I was in the Army at the time. I was probably 19, 20 years old, and I wanted to find a career that had good benefits and a good retirement. And the fire department was a paramilitary organization, so I thought I'd give it a try.
Very good. Now, Ronnie, what caused you to be nominated for the Firefighter of the Year besides the good work you've done for the past 15 years was a rescue that you and your crew were involved with a number of months back. Could you give the viewers an idea of what happened on that day?
Yeah, it was early morning. We got a alarm for a building fire. When we responded, we noticed that the housing crew was laddering the building, trying to get the occupants out. So we knew we had to make a quick attack and do a search to get the people out.
So as soon as you got there was somebody already starting to try to get people out, and then you all knew there was somebody trapped inside.
Yeah, we upon arriving, people was telling us that there was kids inside. So we immediately did an attack. Part of the crew went to attack the fire, and I went in to do a search.
So you're upstairs and you're searching. Where did you find this child? How old was the child?
The child was 3 years old. I searched the kid's bedroom and I didn't find him, and I went into the parents' bedroom. Of course, we couldn't see anything. It was fully charged with smoke. And when I crawled around to the foot of the bed, I found the child face up, and he was still breathing. I put my hand on his chest. I could tell that he was still moving air. So I immediately got him outside and into Rescue 4.
And the Rescue 4, the paramedics there, got him some medical care and took him to the hospital, and he's doing quite well, I understand.
Yeah, he's doing like all 3-year-olds right now.
How must that have felt to be involved with that team effort, getting that child out of that house?
That felt great. I've been on the job 15 years, and I don't think there has ever been a better feeling for me personally as to rescue a child. Winning the award was a great feeling, but saving that child, I really felt good for a long time, about a week or so.
Congratulations. Now, we're going to slide over here just a minute to Captain Jordan. Captain Jordan, when you put in Ronnie for the Firefighter of the Year, you mentioned all of the good things he's done as a firefighter over the past 15 years, besides the rescue he was involved with. What does it take to be a good firefighter on the Tampa Fire Department?
You got to be aggressive. You got to really want to fight fire. You got to be willing to be as aggressive as you can possibly be and take the expertise to jump in and do what you're trained to do and do it as quickly as you can. And in this case, like he said, when we pulled up, they were actually throwing children out the window. Luckily, and they deserve a lot of credit, Tampa Housing had a crew on scene, and they saw the smoke and brought their ground ladder over and put it up and got the mother and the other children out. And this last kid, it was just too much smoke and too much fire, and they couldn't get him out. And so when we got up there with a hose line, we were able to disperse and find him, and it was just it was a real great feeling. Ronnie and I have both been involved in some fires where we weren't so lucky, and we've lost some kids, and it's really great to be in on one where you get him back, and that was a great thing.
If we've got somebody watching this show today, maybe a young man or woman who's thinking about becoming a firefighter, what advice, how many years have you been on the fire department?
21 years.
Your 21 years experience, what would you tell those young people watching today?
I don't know a lot of people that can still tell you that they've been doing something for 10 or 15 years and they still look forward to coming to work. And most of the guys that I work with will tell you we still really love what we do. It's very rewarding when something like this happens. And these kids that are watching couldn't look for a better role model than this guy right here, because he did it right, and he made us all real proud. And I'm real glad he's a member of my crew.
Very good. Captain Jordan, thank you for inviting us over to your station today. Ronnie Tillman, once again, congratulations.
Thank you.
For those of you watching the show, we hope you enjoyed this. We'll join you back in the studio in just a few minutes.
In a life-threatening emergency, you should know what to do. Say a loved one exhibits unusual symptoms. The first thing to do is...
Clear!
No. The first thing to do...
Oh! Tourniquet! No!
The first thing you do is pick up the phone and dial your emergency number.
Call 911 first.
Right.
How about mouth to mouth?
I don't think so. To learn more about life-saving techniques, contact your Red Cross.
Now, what would a fire safety show be without at least a little bit of conversation about smoke detectors? Jamie, give us an idea of where this smoke detector should go in the home.
Okay, Bill. These smoke detectors need to be placed in the area leading to the sleeping quarters. If you have a house that is ranch style that has bedrooms on one side, in the hallway area leading to the bedrooms. Okay. If you have a two-story home, make sure you have one at the top of the stairwell, because smoke naturally goes up and it follows the stairwell up to the second floor.
And the maintenance on these is fairly simple.
Right. As you're going down the hallway or running through your house, vacuuming, what have you, you're cleaning your house, just press the button, test it, hold it in, hear it beep, you're okay. I recommend you change your battery every time during daylight savings time. When you change your clock, change your battery.
Every 6 months, at least
Every 6
year.
months, every year.
Drop a new battery in there.
Absolutely.
Okay. Now, the people have been hearing a little bit about something called carbon monoxide detectors, what we have in this box. Now, it looks a lot like a smoke detector.
Right.
But what makes this different? Why do I need to have a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide detector?
Well, the smoke detector is going to pick up particles of smoke, whereas this is going to pick up particles of carbon monoxide. Homes that have natural gas, homes that use a fireplace a lot, some of the older homes need to have a carbon monoxide detector for the incomplete combustion.
Okay, so this is where the carbon monoxide comes from, like you say, is the furnaces, fireplaces, gas-powered products and stuff.
Water heaters, all gas-powered appliances.
Okay. What we're going to do is now we're going to go ahead, we've got a video that was made by a company that puts out these carbon monoxide detectors, and we're going to roll that video for just a few minutes and let you learn a little bit more about carbon monoxide detectors and why you should probably have one.
Patty Dwinell and her husband Mike were at their cabin. There was no warning, no sound, no odor.
Didn't smell anything, my ears didn't burn, my eyes didn't burn. I had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever that I was aware of.
It was carbon monoxide, a silent killer. The odorless gas escaping from a faulty furnace killed Patty Dwinell. Mike was found unconscious.
I walked in and shook her, asked her if she was okay, and she said, "I'll be okay in a minute." And honestly, that was the last thing I remember. They found me laying in the bedroom door.
The same tragic fate almost befell Dan and Laura Nissen. Their home in Illinois was brand new. Without a carbon monoxide detector, there would have been no warning.
We felt like we had the flu. We had real bad headaches, and finally we just decided to lay down and hope to get better.
But this time, there was a warning. A first alert carbon monoxide detector installed in the new home, which sounded the alarm. Their lives were saved. Carbon monoxide is a common pollutant in the home and presents a health threat. Carbon monoxide, a byproduct of fossil fuel combustion, can have many sources in the home, such as a cracked heat exchanger, an improperly installed or faulty furnace, hot water heater, clothes dryer, range, or oven. Other sources include leaky or clogged vent pipes, flues or chimneys, unvented portable space heaters, fireplaces, operating a charcoal grill in an enclosed space, or a car left running in an attached garage. The danger from this deadly gas, carbon monoxide, is that there is no warning. It is odorless. You can't smell it. You can't see it. When you breathe carbon monoxide, it enters the bloodstream, overpowering and displacing oxygen that's needed for life. The first effects may be simply fatigue, headache, and flu-like symptoms. At high concentrations, carbon monoxide causes unconsciousness, and then death. The unborn, children, the elderly, or anyone with cardiovascular conditions are the most vulnerable to this toxic gas. Carbon monoxide is the #1 cause of poisoning death in America, according to the Journal of the American Medical Association.
When you walk up on a scene of fatality, and you look around and you say there's absolutely no reason why this person should be dead. There's no destruction, there's no trauma, so you feel that this can be preventable.
When the patented biomimetic sensor absorbs sufficient carbon monoxide to sound the alarm, it is a warning that the deadly gas is becoming a health hazard. The Consumer Product Safety Commission recommends every home have at least one carbon monoxide detector located near the sleeping area. Now let's hear from the people whose lives were saved as a result of installing a carbon monoxide detector.
I bought one myself, and I installed it in January. And about the middle of January, on the 20th, our carbon monoxide detector went off. It was a very cold night. It was about 10 below zero. We had already received about 12 inches of snow, and it was about 1:30 in the morning. All of a sudden, it beeped once. Well, I got up, and I walked around the home, and about 5 minutes later, it beeped off again. And this time, it beeped continuously. It didn't quit. It just kept beeping and beeping. Well, I talked it over with my wife, and we decided to call the Wisconsin Public Service Corporation, our gas company that we were dealing with. They assured me that what we should do is open up all the windows in the house, and they would have a representative there within a half hour. And sure enough, a representative did show up within a half hour's time. He met us at the front door, and he had a carbon monoxide meter. And as soon as he entered the house with this meter, the meter started detecting carbon monoxide. We went through every room in the house. There was carbon monoxide in every room. The last room we entered was our furnace room. And at that point, his needle just went up as high as it could go. We had almost 5,000 parts per million of carbon monoxide in the furnace room. And immediately he popped the cover on the furnace. Our burner was all inflamed, and he shut the furnace down immediately. And then he proceeded to inspect with a flashlight, and our damper was stuck, our flue was plugged, and if we hadn't called him, we probably wouldn't be here today. When he got through inspecting and getting everything back into shape, he told me that was the best $50 investment I had ever made.
When you're shopping for a carbon monoxide detector, the name brand isn't necessarily as important as it is looking for this UL label. If you see a UL label on any carbon monoxide detector you're going to buy, you know that carbon monoxide detector has been tested, and you're sure it's going to work the way it's supposed to protect you and your family from this possible problem. For Fireline, I'm Bill Wade, a captain with the Tampa Fire Department. We want to thank Jamie Urso from the Tampa Fire Marshal's Office for joining us today and giving us these holiday tips.
Anytime,
and we
Bill.
hope to see you again real soon.